What's going on, guys? Billy here, and today we'll be going over how to use the 4 quick shots on the DJI Mavic Mini. These are Rocket, Dronie, Helix, and Circle, all of which were first introduced with the DJI Spark, and then since then they've been implemented in pretty much every single drone that DJI has released. Now you can think of these quick shots as predetermined moves that the drone will make in order to shoot video for you. So there's 4 predetermined shots that the drone software will basically have the drone fly for you. It flies along the route, and then it gives you that shot that you can edit, that you can share at the end. Now here's the thing, I've been using these quick shots since they first came out on the DJI Spark, and they all feel played out, they all feel overused. I personally think that you can get great footage from the Mavic Mini just by flying yourself, by manually flying, and it gives you so many different possibilities, but quick shots are a great starting point if you're somebody who just picked up the Mavic Mini as your very first drone. So the way that Quickshots works is fundamentally the same as it did with DJI's previous drones. To begin taking a quick shot, tap on the camera settings icon just above where the shutter and record button are. From here, select Quick Shots at the bottom and open a small menu where we can choose from Dronie, Rocket, Circle, and Helix. We can then further customize the distance the drone will fly during said quick shot with a maximum of 120 feet, which really isn't that far at all. Now, despite active track not being a standalone mode that can be used within the Mavic Mini, it still uses active track in order to track the selected subject during the quick shot. This selection can be done easily by tapping on the green point that automatically finds your subject, or if that isn't showing, then you can manually drag a box around your subject in order to select what your quick shot will follow. DJI has made some serious improvements to their tracking software, as we see on their newest version of Active Track 2.0, with their newest drones like the Mavic 2 Pro, and being able to just simply select your subject by tapping on the screen instead of having to find that person and then drag a box over them just makes shooting quick shots so much easier. Honestly, you can get this drone up in the air and take a couple of really great shots in under 30 seconds just because of how easy they make it with the software. So the first quick shot that I want to take a look at here is Dronie, which simultaneously flies up and backwards with a slight gimbal pitch downwards to reveal the background behind your subject. You have the option of changing the distance to 80 feet, 100 feet, or 120 feet, and once the subject has been selected, you can tap on Start on the right side of the screen and watch as the drone embarks backwards as its altitude also increases. Like with these other quick shots, you really have to be aware of your surroundings because this drone does not have obstacle avoidance, and while the drone is flying by itself in any of these quick shots, it could potentially crash if you aren't aware of the different objects that are around you. Now, once the Dronie quick shot has been completed, the recording will stop and it will begin to fly back towards you, ultimately coming to a hover right where it started. I should also mention that the drone begins recording automatically for you as soon as you press on start, so it captures the entire length, the entire duration of the quick shot that you're shooting. And yes, this is great so that you don't accidentally miss the shot, but I wish that you could begin recording before the quick shot even started, and then you could end as soon as the quick shot stopped, because sometimes it comes to like an abrupt end and there's sort of like a gimbal twitch. At least that's some of the time. Another thing that I have a problem with, and you'll see throughout this entire video, is that the quick shots are very limited in terms of their distance. 120 feet is the furthest that we can fly, whereas if we look at something like the original Mavic Pro, the one that came out over 2 years ago, it has a max distance when using specific quick shots of up to 200 meters or 656 feet. This is about 5 times that of the Mavic Mini, and it makes for much better shots. Now, I don't know if DJI decided to limit the distance because of the size of this drone, but I think it's certainly capable of flying at least 600 feet away, and it's a real shame that the quick shots are this severely limited. Moving on, the next quick shot that we have available is Rocket, which starts out in front of the subject and then slowly increases its altitude while moving forward and pitching the gimbal downward, coming right above the subject that you've selected. This has never really been one of my favorites, and especially now that we can only fly up to 120 feet high, you don't get that much room to reveal all that much when you're using this quick shot. Just like the Dronie quick shot, the Mavic Mini will fly back down and hover in the spot that you started from from once it's done shooting, which is definitely a great convenience feature. It's not that I necessarily don't like the rocket Quickshot. It's definitely something that can be cool and something that can be used, but there's two things that limit it in my opinion. First of all, I think that it's just a little bit boring, but second of all, the drone can only fly 120 feet high. So I would say if you want to use and if you want to replicate a shot like the rocket Quickshot, see how it's done a couple of times and then try to do it on your own. Fly the drone straight upwards above the subject you're trying to shoot, because you can get so much more height out of your drone rather than the 120 feet that the rocket Quickshot gives you. Our second to last quick shot that we'll be taking a look at is Circle, which pretty much does what it says. It flies a circle around your subject. Now, something interesting to note about this quick shot is that you can manually set the distance from the subject at which you want to orbit. So while you can't change the distance right within the app, you can back further away from the subject and start the quick shot whenever you're ready. I noticed though that 50 feet seems to be the limit, as if I went any further, the drone would lose sight of me, the subject, so it wouldn't have a reference point to track. Something to note is that when you increase this distance, the drone seems to fly faster to complete that orbit in the same amount of time, no matter what distance you're at, and it's pretty cool to see this thing zip around when you're shooting from further away. You also have the option of changing the direction at which the drone flies, so clockwise or counterclockwise, and this can be changed by selecting the different arrows that appear towards the bottom half of the screen in the middle when you're setting up this quick shot. Now moving on, the final quick shot that we have available to use here on the Mavic Mini is Helix, which is by far my favorite out of all four of them. It's the most dynamic as the drone flies backwards, upwards, it rotates around the subject, and it pitches the gimbal down slightly, so you really have 4 different levels of movement here. Within the app, we can select a distance of 40 feet, 60 feet, 80 feet, 100 feet, and 120 feet, and you can even select which way you want the drone to fly, just like with Circle, so either clockwise or counterclockwise. Out of all of the quick shots, this is the one that I would say you have to be the most careful using because of all the different elements of movement. You're going up, you're going back, and you're moving from side to side. Regardless though, like I said, this is my favorite quick shot, and I'd highly recommend checking it out as long as you've got the room to perform it. Now, there are theoretically 2 different quick shots that are available within DJI's newer drones like the Mavic Mini as well as the Mavic 2 series. These are Boomerang and Asteroid. They were first introduced with the Mavic Air, and it would have been great if we saw both of those put into the Mavic Mini, but unfortunately they aren't here yet. We only have 4: Dronie, Helix, Rocket, and Circle. The reason I don't think we can do a quick shot such as, say, Asteroid is because at the end it ends with a 360 panorama, and this drone is not able to take panorama. So for some reason, I feel like there is a disconnect there. Now, there could be a future firmware update where they actually introduce new features to the Mavic Mini. They could introduce some new quick shots. So this is the full guide to all 4 quick shots that came originally with the Mavic Mini, but if they do implement some update and they introduce new quick shots, I'm sure I've covered that, so check for a link down in the description. Anyway, guys, it's not that I don't hate quick shots, I just think you can get much better results if you fly manually, so go ahead and check out those quick shots if the Mavic Mini is your very first drone. Get used to how the drone flies and then try and master those shots and those different types of movement yourself, because I think that is a great way to kind of get your feet wet with shooting video with any drone. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, I'll talk to you later. Peace.